Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Corps studio. Welcome to the show. So, on today's episode, I've got a fun one for you with the most fun commanders to play right now. Let's jump into it right now. First up, in my opinion, it is really hard to beat Joda when it comes to a fun experience as a commander player. Joda Archmage Eternal is, well, my favorite color combination, and you might be thinking, oh, Jeskai in the top right, but no, sorry, Jeskai fans out there, Wooburg, every color. You know, you get access to all the cards, you can play whatever you want. To me, that is the most fun experience, typically, when it comes to Commander, and it's not just because it's a 5-color Commander. I mean, obviously, if you just chucked any 5-color Commander up here, I wouldn't just say it's the most fun one of all time. Exploding, Child of Alara all the time, is probably not the most fun experience for everyone out there. That being said, a 4/3 human wizard with flying, that doesn't matter all that much. What matters is you may pay Wooburg rather than pay the mana cost for spells you cast. So basically, Fist of Suns in the command zone, at least how that initially was. There's another card these days. I think I'll actually mention that on another one here in a bit, potentially. But yes, essentially this is a commander that allows you to replace any cost with just Wooburg when it comes to casting cards. Which means, yeah, you've got to fix your mana properly, but hey, we're in green. We've got plenty of ways to ramp, plenty of ways to get our lands, and make sure that we get that, Wooburg essentially by the time turn, 4 probably comes around. So when we do that, well, we can cast some absolutely massive spells. I mean, who doesn't like to just cast big spell after big spell after big spell after big spell? It is so much fun just casting some massive spells, having a huge impact on the game. And even if, say, one gets countered, it's like, oh no! Okay, well, I guess I'll, tap these lands then, and I cast this other big spell, and the other biggest threat on the board that you just play one after the other, and you can use some really exciting cards with this commander, including Clarion Ultimatum. I'm going to keep bringing this card up until it sees more play. A sorcery for 7 mana in total. It's a very specific mana value, but again, I guess I should just say, with this commander, it costs Wooburg. Choose 5 permanents you control. For each of those permanents, you may search your life for a card with the same name as that permanent. Those cards into play, tap, then shuffle your library. Being able to play a card like this, again, that sees basically no play in Commander because it's a singleton format, and making it really good, again, basically 5 mana, go get 5 lands. Go get your 5 basic lands, essentially, and say, oh, I just doubled up my mana, essentially, or maybe not doubled, but essentially I just got another activation of Joda ready to go, which is pretty crazy. Speaking of crazy, Sunbird's Invocation, just 19 cents for this gem right now, enchant for 6 mana in total. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library where X that spell's mana value. May cast a spell of mana value X less from among the cards revealed this way without paying its mana cost. The rest go bottom of your library in random order. Now, this is one where, yeah, it allows you to utilize Joda to the fullest because you are casting massive spells, which then reveal at the top of the library other massive spells for you to cast, so do just that. Or how about Genesis Ultimatum? Again, a card that basically does that too. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of permanent cards from among them on the battlefield, the rest in your hand, exile it. It's kind of like, hey, draw 5 and play things for free if they're permanents, essentially. So, being able to cheat and to play even more things, and again, with these incredibly specific mana values, you actually make them easier to cast somehow by making them Wooburg as well. I mean, less to cast and easier than this. Swarm Intelligence, again, you've got these massive instant sorceries. Why don't you double those up? Whenever you cast against sorcery spell, copy it. Choose targets to copy. What's better than 1 big spell? 2 big spells, and maybe even more depending on what you're utilizing in the deck. Myojin of Cryptic Dreams. Speaking of copying things, well, this enters the battlefield with indestructible counter on if you cast it from your hand, which you will with Joda, of course, but just for 5 mana instead of 8. By removing an indestructible counter from it, you copy target permanent spell you control 3 times. Yeah, being able to get a massive spell, 3 more times, essentially, is absolutely amazing, which could be, well, let's just say, how about Sandworm Convergence? That'd be a fun one, right? Creatures with flying can attack you or planeswalkers you control. Okay, and on top of that, at the beginning of your end step, you make a 5/5 worm. Think about, having 3 extra copies of this and making 20 power across 4 bodies every single trip around the table. And of course, your opponents really can't get through with flyers, so have fun. Or how about one with the multiverse? Again, another great card to just cheat and to play, which costs so much mana, 8, but now you cast it just for 5. Look at the top card of your library at any time. Play lands, cast spells to top of your library, basically future sight, without, showing your opponents what the card is. On top of that, though, Once during each of your turns, you may cast a spell from your hand or the top of your library without paying its mana cost. So now you can just play that for free instead, which is amazing again. Playing something for free off the top or from your hand versus having to pay for it, that's lovely. But still, you can pay for Primeval Spawn. Why not? 10 mana in total, but again, you're just going to pay 5, basically cut that in half. A 10/10 Avatar. If it would enter the battlefield, it wasn't cast, or no mana was spent to cast it, exile instead. Not the case with Joda. Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink. When it leaves the battlefield, exile the top 10 cards of your library. You may cast any other spells with total mana value 10 or less from them paying their mana cost. Yeah, get some big things off the top. And of course, yeah, you can just cast like World Spine Worm with your commander. Why not? World Spine Worm. It's so much fun. 15/15 Trampling Worm for 11 mana in total. When it dies, you basically split into 3, get 3 5/5s with Trample, and then also it shovels back in your library so you can get it again and again and have fun with Joda. Again, Joda is a commander where it just gets better over time. You get more giant, kind of dorky, bomb cards, that don't see play anywhere else. I mean, like, one with the multiversity is like no play at all. Just like go get like your draft chaff bulk rares essentially, and you can do some amazing things with them because other decks are like, well, that's a really cool effect, but it costs too much to cast. And Joda's like, everything costs the exact same amount to me, so that's what I'm going to do. Again, any commander that can make Clarion Ultimatum work in Commander has a check mark from me. I absolutely love you, Joda. I love you so much. I built multiple Joda decks so far, and I plan on building more in the future. Joda, you're so much fun. Check it out. Next up, now I probably should actually mention this before, but if you're interested in any of these commanders, make sure you check out my deck text on them, and also make sure you check out that card list link in the description below if you're interested in any of the cards on this episode. Here we go, though. Rennard, Ginger, Sculptor. A commander that is very atypical, I would say, for a Bant commander, because it's kind of like, in my opinion, like, not Bant aristocrats necessarily, but you're going to want to sacrifice some creatures. It's a 3/3 Humanoid Visitor for 4 mana in Bant. Each creature you control, it's a food or golem, gets +2/+2 and has trample. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 1/1 food golem, and you can also do the food thing. Pay 2 tap, sacrifice it, gain 3 life. Cool. This is so much fun. Again, what kind of a Bant commander is like, you know what I'd like to do? Get creatures out and sacrifice them and turn them into food. It doesn't seem very Bant at all, but very much so when it comes to the amount of value that you can generate. Because you get some non-token creatures in play, again, ones that have great ETBs that you want to utilize, and then you say, you know what, I'll use a free sacrifice outlet to sacrifice you and get a ton of value out of you and make a tiny little golem that maybe I can, populate. We'll talk about that here in a second. But yeah, cards like Fanatical Devotion. Have you ever heard of this card? No? Great. Go pick it up. It's amazing. Enchantment for 3 mana in white. Sacrifice a creature. Regenerate target creature. This is a huge card again when it comes to free sacrifice outlets. Typically players are like, yes, black usually, right? And this is like, no, okay, yeah, it's also in mono white for some reason with this really weird old card. It's all about regeneration in white. Cool. Yeah, free sacrifice outlet, utilize it, save your best things and play, your commander, and then sacrifice your other cards to actually get that golem, basically, to be able to get a copy of the creature, which is pretty incredible. Much of the Departed, this works perfectly in this deck. ETBs make a 1/1 spirit. Cool, that's nice with flying. That being said, Morbid at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, populate. That's going to be happening because, again, you're going to get creatures in play, you're going to sacrifice them, and you're going to be getting token versions of them, and then you can populate those tokens. Populating those tokens is absolutely massive because, again, if they've got great ETBs, I don't care if they're just a 1/1, well, +2/+2, so they're like a 3/3. Like, I don't care. All I care about is get the ETBs again and again and again. Selesnyologist is an amazing one as well. Pay 3 mana in total. Exile creature card from a graveyard, then populate. So, exiling cards out of your opponent's graveyards is very nice, graveyard disruption. But on top of that, of course, yeah, populating for 3 mana, again, with some of the ETBs we can get is huge. Garrick's Pack Leader. This is going to be absolutely massive for you. 4/4 Beast. Whenever another creature you control power 3 or greater enters, you may draw a card. Every single creature token that you have that's going to be entering, that's that food golem thing, it's going to have 3 power because, well, again, the 1/1 plus the +2/+2 gets you to 3. So every single time you sacrifice a creature and get a copy of it, you're drawing a card from this. On top of that, just picture this, okay? You get this in play, you sacrifice this, you get a 1/1 copy of it, cool, all right, and then all of a sudden you populate it again and again and again, get a couple of those. Anytime any creature comes into play now, you're drawing like 4+ cards. Have fun. Muldrifter, again, actually sacrifices itself with that evoke. Lovely. ETBs draw 2 cards. Again, you get a token copy of it. Draw 2 more cards. Congratulations. For 3 mana, you drew 4 cards. You can do even more, though, with like a Sun Titan, ETB, or attack. Again, return something from your graveyard with mana value 3 less to your graveyard to the battlefield. Even if that's just like an Evolving Wilds, that can be so much value for you. Tovolar's Huntmaster. ETBs make 2/2/2s. Cool, then it flips over with the Daybound, Nightbound, or whatever it's called. There we go. 7/7 ETBs or attacks make 2/2/2 wolf creature tokens. Sorry for all the fans out there of Daybound and Nightbound. It's not one of the most loved mechanics out there, though. Anyways, you can also have wolves fight each other. Regardless, you're making a ton of tokens. Have fun. Delivering Primordial, again, a massive ETB. Basically, ETB, steal 3 things, 1 instant or sorcery from each opponent's graveyard, and cast them for free. Again, sacrifice this, get another copy of it, do it again, maybe populate, do it again, have fun. Again, this is a commander that takes Bant in a different, unique direction that Bant typically doesn't go. Of course, you can do other things as well. You don't have to go like aristocrat-style sacrifice value shenanigans. But that's the direction I'm going with that plus populate. And I think it's a really fun direction. And again, it's nice when you, have options in the usual colors for a specific type of deck. But now when it says, you know what? Completely separate color identity for that same type of deck, but in a different way. You can do a lot of fun things with this one, and I think Rennard, Ginger Sculptor, or, Aristocrat shenanigans can be a lot of fun. You know what else is fun, though? Gratuitous amounts of power. Okay, that was my best Arnold, and I'm sorry it wasn't all that good. 0-5, Human Warrior. Arnold Schwarzenegger, what are you doing? Get to the chopper. Okay, terrible. All right, for 4 mana, and John, I'm thrown off now. Plus X plus 0, where X is the greatest power among creatures, cards, and all graveyards. When it attacks, each player mills a card. During each of your turns, you may play a land and cast a spell from among cards in graveyards that are put there from libraries this turn. This commander is just like, you know what? All I want to do is just get a really powerful creature into a graveyard. It doesn't have to be mine. It could be an opponent's. I don't care. Whatever it is, I want it there. And all of a sudden, I'm going to hit harder than anything else in the world, which is so much fun. Yeah, entombing just a giant creature into your graveyard is just, so good with this commander. And of course, again, you might just not even realize this, but this commander is an absurd amount of card, advantage for you in a way too, because, again, during each of your turns, you can play a land and cast a spell from on cards in graveyards put there from libraries. That includes your opponents as well. This on attack mills 1 card, which is nice for every player. So again, if you hit any land, which your chances are pretty high, again, if every single player runs, 36, 37 lands in their deck, that's like a 1/3 chance at least of hitting one off the top library. But you have 4 players in total. You're bound to hit at least 1 land off the top. So there you go. You're hitting your land drops. On top of that, of course, cast some spells too. Steal some things as well. And just get some juicy creatures in graveyards. Of course, Ghoulcaller's Bell, a card like this, can just add to that as well. Artifact for 1, tap, each player mills a card. So again, adding to that gives you more options for more cards to play and more lands to play. Essence Harvest. Hey, you know what? Again, my goal is to get my commander to have an absurd amount of power. I'm going to utilize that then and say, okay, I'll pay 3 and make a player lose X life and I gain X life for X greatest power and creatures I control, which again can be like 20 plus with this commander. And all of a sudden you just took someone out while also gaining an absurd amount of life without even attacking. How about Violent Tumor though? Let's go get that perfect creature that we need, put it right into our graveyard on this great ETB, and all of a sudden, cool, we've got the way to do that. We've got the way to essentially go get that best creature that we need, the amount of power that we want, and utilize it. Also, Death Touch is quite nice too with this. Anyways, Berserker's Onslaught. Let's say, okay, you know what? I've got that giant creature in the graveyard. I've got that power. Let's turn this into a one-shot KO quite easily. Attacking creatures you control have double strike. We can get super aggressive with this. It's also a great way to protect our commander in combat with that first strike. Turn the Wild Speaker, draw an absurd amount of cards, an insane amount of cards because, I know our commander is a human itself. We're going to have other creatures in play that have an absurd amount of power too because, there's certain creatures out there that, maybe don't cost all that much actually that we can get out super easily and then have an absurd amount of power as well. Traverse the Outlands though, doesn't care if it's a human. Search life for X basic land cards, or X grace power among creatures you control. Those cards on the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Being able to just say, okay, I got the right creature in my graveyard. My commander has like 20 power. Cool, I'll pay 5. I'm going to go get every single one of my basic lands from my deck and put them into play. Good luck, opponents. You're going to lose. Beast of Burden, a great creature that has a star power and toughness. Artifact creature for 6 mana. Power, toughness, each of the number of creatures in your graveyard. In play, I should say, not your graveyard. But being able to just go, okay, how many creatures on the board? Okay, my commander's got that much power. good for me. Or like Lord of Extinction, like based on all graveyards, have fun with that. Now less than $1 for that card too. Yargle Multani though, how about a set, power right there with 18? Again, a massive threat when it's in play, and just also turns our commander into nearly a one-shot KO. Of course, can easily become a one-shot KO with any kind of a double strike effect or any like other pump effect. It's a lot of fun. It's a commander, again, where you can go like Fling, you can go Entomb effects, you can go in a lot of different directions with this when it comes to getting value out of that power, and you can do a lot of fun things with Corm the Undertaker, and again, it's just value. It's just value plus power. What's not to love about that? Time to shift gears, though, with Atla Palani Nestender. Whereas Corm is all about, okay, I'll utilize my other creatures for power myself. Atla Palani is like, I'll utilize myself to get out those powerful creatures in a way. And it's kind of a spin the wheel type commander, which I typically enjoy when it's like, you know what? There are ways to set the top of my library. There are ways to know when I'm going to be getting a big creature on top or to put one on top specifically. That being said, there's also just some fun where you're like, all right, spin the wheel, see what I hit. Oh my goodness. That's what I hit? Awesome. Game changed. A 2/3 human shaman for 4 mana and Naya. Pay 2 tap. Make a 0/1 egg with Defender. That being said, whenever an egg you control dies, reveal cards to the top of your library to reveal a creature card. With that card on the battlefield, the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order. Being able to just go, okay, let's make some eggs, let's crack some eggs, and let's hit some massive creatures. What's not to love about that? And of course, there are certain, creature types that you can go specifically into if you want to make this a tribal commander deck. But yeah, even just going like random miscellaneous creatures, or one thing I'll tell you about here in a little bit that is a different kind of build, yeah, you can do that too. All right, Martyr's Cause though, again, literally the second free sacrifice outlet in mono white that I'm going to bring up today. Fanatical Devotion is the other one. This one you might not realize was a thing either, but yeah, again, free sacrifice outlets in white. Who knows it's a thing? Enchantment for 3 mana in white, sacrifice a creature, prevent all damage to a creature or player from one source. Being able to crack those eggs whenever you want to is absolutely huge. And also protect yourself while you're doing so, I guess, too. Or you can actually make political deals with this, too. If some other players attack another player or whatnot, be like, I'll save you. And like, okay, cool. By the way, giant creatures coming up the top of the library. Or, how about Mirror Entity? Crack all the eggs at once. A 1/1 changeling that has pay X until end of turn. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX and gain all creature types, including eggs. So everything is an egg, and technically, yeah, you can, actually pay 0 into it and make everything have to sacrifice. You do lose your commander out on that, though, too, so do keep that in mind. But still, being able to just go, okay, everything's a changeling. Everything's got all creature types. Lovely, let's do it. Fantastic. Masquerade Nexus basically does the exact same thing for us, though. We don't have to sacrifice the things or pay for it. Artifact for 4. Creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that are on the battlefield. And you can pay to make a 2/2 with Changeling. So yeah, basically, make more eggs, and also everything is an egg. So you can go like, okay, I get this creature, the sacrifice to this creature, the sacrifice to this creature, the sacrifice to this creature, and you see where this is going. Speaking of that, Trostani Silesia's voice. Taking advantage of creatures coming into play and gaining ETB value is huge with this kind of a deck. Another creature enters the battlefield to control. You gain life equal to that creature's toughness. That can be a huge amount of life gain for you to pad your life total. On top of that, pay 3 tap and populate. That's massive because, again, you make more eggs. What's not to love about that? Nesting Dragon. Let's make even more eggs. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under control, well, you're going to have a 0/2 dragon, egg creature stung with Defender, and then basically when that dies, you get a 2/2 dragon. Cool. So now when you get those eggs into play, which again is super easy, landfall in green, it's a match made in heaven. All of a sudden you get a ton of eggs, and then you sacrifice them, and you get a ton of 2/2 dragons with fire breathing, and also miscellaneously giant creatures off the top library. There are certain players out there that might build around this with dragons. It can be a great dragon tribal commander, as well as dinosaurs too, which are typically in Naya. You can have Lazy Pants in the deck, Pantlaza. Sun favored a 4/4 dinosaur for 5 mana in Naya. Whenever it or other dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may discover X or X a creature's toughness. There's only once each turn. Again, you can crack eggs on your opponent's turns. Have fun getting even more dinosaurs out with this. My build, though, is more so, yeah, let's get like a Warstorm Surge in play kind of thing. And, yeah, maybe use like a Sarah Avatar or just like a Haste Enabler. And, yeah, that's like my only creature in the deck. That's like all I need. A Star Avatar for a 7 mana in white. Power and toughness equal to your life total. And on top of that, when it puts in a graveyard, you shuffle in your library. So you just do that again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Yeah, being able to just get out the biggest creature on the board every single time just by cracking an egg is quite fun. And of course, again, if you got Warstorm Surge, you just take a player out. If you've got like a Haste Enabler with Trample, you just take another player out. It is so much fun. So again, you can build this like random creatures off the top. You can also build this one creature off the top every single time. Yay! Or it is some big heavy hitters with great ETBs. Again, Terrastodon, think about this super early in the game. Mean! 9/9 Elephant for 8 mana in total. ETBs store up to 3 target non-creature permanents. And then they get, 3/3 elephants for each thing destroyed. Good for them, but I've got a giant 9/9 elephant. And even bigger things like, well, Pathrays Log is also a 9/9. But still, it's got 9 later 3. There you go. An 11 mana cost that you're never going to pay. Can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. And again, whenever you're attacking, that opponent's got to sacrifice 3 things. So, yeah, they're going to be down in the dumps, and you're going to be having a great time. That Lapuani Nest Tender, again, a commander that, again, you can go in a lot of directions with it. You can go tribal if you want to. You can go really having to populate. You can do, random creatures at the top. You could, tutor things onto the top. Or, like me, you could go, okay, let's just build around Sarah Avatar because it's hilariously fun. Definitely a fun commander. Random fun times. Go pick it up. Continuing on, we've got a Rixmathes Slumbering Isle. Thank you, Eddie, for showing me the potential of Rixmathes. It is quite nasty with the right build. 12/12 Kraken for 4 mana in Simic. Enter set with 5 slumber counters on it. Sleepy Island. And it has a slumber counter on it. It's still a land. And then also, whenever you cast a spell, you can move a slumber counter from it. Oh, and by the way, it taps for Simic colors. So, this is basically an explosive vegetation in your command zone that just sits there. It's just waiting there. It is just basically, hey, you know what? Guaranteed ramp once you get to 4 mana. So again, if as a Simic player, or as just a green player I should say, your game plan goes correctly, you're like, okay, turn 2, rampant growth. Okay, turn 3, hit your land drop, and all of a sudden, play your explosive vegetation on the command zone. There you go. Now all of a sudden, next turn you play a land, you're like 7 mana on turn 4, consistently with this commander. You are just out of the gates, just shot out of a cannon, and all of a sudden you're way ahead of your opponents on mana, and also, every single time you cast a spell, you remove a slumber counter from this, again and again and again. And here's the thing, you probably actually leave it at that last one. That's what I do, okay? You leave it at that last slumber counter. It's got 1 on it still. You just let it sit there. And even though you're casting some spells here and there and everywhere, you're just letting it sit there. You're waiting for the right opportunity to turn your land into a massive creature. The biggest creature on the board that can one-shot KO people when set up properly. That's kind of how you do it. And yeah, you just kind of have an instant speed, 1 mana, oh, I opt. Cool, all right, now it's a giant 12/12. Roar. And of course, there's other ways to build it as well. You can definitely go Sea Monster Tribal. We'll get into that too. But yeah, at the very least, you're like, okay, utilize something like Kyora's Follower. A great turn 2 play for this deck. A 2/2 Merfolk for 2 mana. Tap on tap another target permanent. So again, get you that turn 3 Rixmathes, and then also allows you to untap a Rixmathes land, which lets you have even more mana. Basically, it's considered as a bounce land. Or how about a card like Genesis Wave? Again, go super big mana into this. Again, you already have that guaranteed, basically, explosive vegetation on turn 3 or turn 4 if you're unlucky and don't hit a ramp spell earlier. But still, being able to guarantee ramp and get things out there, you're going to get way ahead of your opponents, eventually casting some massive X spells like this one. If you let the top X card your library, put any of your permanent cards of mana value X less and run them on the battlefield, and then the rest bomb your library, or sorry, in the graveyard, I should say. But yeah, just a lot of value for you to get off the top of the library and have. Or how about Levitation? Again, once you are ready to change Rixmathes over to being a creature, that can still tap for mana and have some combos with it if you really want to go that way. Yeah, let's get it through in combat. Enchant for 4 mana, creatures you control flying. Very simple, very effective. Get your entire team flying. It's absolutely a massive play for you. Speaking of which, you don't need flying when you just wipe the board of everything else. Whelming Wave, sorcery for 4 mana. Return all creatures' owner's hands except for Krakens, Leviathans, Octopus, and Serpents, better known as sea monsters. So yeah, a Rixmathes can definitely be a great sea monster for you. You can go Sea Monster Tribal, but you can also just go, oh, I don't even need Tribal for this. I just say, okay, I've got a 12/12 commander. I've got a one-sided board wipe. Let's cast that. I'm going to balance everything else because my opponents don't have any of these, and all of a sudden I am swinging through on them. Or if you do go Sea Monster Tribal, have fun with Kiora. Sovereign of the Deep, Vigilance, Warrior 3. Whenever you cast a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent from your hand, with the top X card your library, X that spell's mana value. You may cast that spell with mana value less than X from among them without paying its mana cost. But the rest of your library in random order. Again, free value off the top of your deck. What's not to love about that? And also, hey, you know what? Slin Vote of the Rising Deep. If you want another Whelming Wave, do it. Why not? Actually, this one includes something else too, though. It's kind of funny. 8/8 Leviathan with Kicker for 1 and a blue. And it says, when it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return all creatures' owner's hands, except for, well, Merfolk, Krakens, Leviathans, Octopus, Serpents. Merfolk were included in this too for some reason. Not sure why. Someone in the comments below, let me know why. That being said, yeah, again, another Whelming Wave to just decimate your opponents in a one-sided board wipe. What's not to love about that? But yeah, how about this scenario, okay? Again, you've got your, all right, turn 2, Rampant Growth, turn 3, Exploded Vegetation, Commander, turn 4, drop another land, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, yeah, I've got, 7 mana, and I'll cast Boundless Realms on turn 4. So much fun. Search for your 7 mana in total. Search live for X basic land cards, X the number of basic or lands you control, put them on the battlefield, then shuffle. You just went from having, what, like 5, 6 lands, whatever it was, to having, double that. So have fun. Not quite double, because there are these steps for 2, but still unnatural growth. How about this? You know what? Now your commander is that one-shot KO enchantment for 4 mana in total. Well, 4 green, I should say, and 1, so it's 5. There we go. At the beginning of each combat, don't need power toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. Your commander, again, already is a 2-shot KO just inherently. Now it's a 1-shot KO on anyone. It doesn't matter what they're doing. You're like, okay, Whelming Wave, swing through, and you're gone. Or like, okay, Levitation, swing through, and you're gone. Elixir with these is so much fun. Again, you can go in a lot of directions. You can go like, again, Sea Monster Tribal. You can go just like big spells. You can go just Voltron-y if you want to, or a combination of all the above. Have fun with this one. And again, thank Eddie. All right. Alrighty, buckle up for this next one because Morphon the Boundless is still such a fun commander. A 6/6 shapeshifter changeling for 7 mana in total. Enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Spells the chosen type cost 1 Wooburg less to cast. The effect reduces only amount of colored mana you pay. Other creatures you control the chosen type get +1/+1. This commander is so much fun because it can be applied to so many different things and so many different strategies. And yes, it is kind of the catch-all tribal commander for tribes that don't really have a commander. It kind of has gotten pushed to the wayside for certain tribes out there, like, let's say, Eldrazi, which used to not have, a Wooburg commander that was an Eldrazi. And no, please do not comment below. Technically, changelings are Eldrazi too, so there have been, and I understand. Yes, okay, I do understand that this is a changeling commander, but you know what I mean, okay? All right, you know what I mean when I say we haven't ever had a Wooburg Eldrazi commander until recently. We haven't, okay? So, yeah, this has been pushed aside with some, but still it does fill that need for others that don't have that commander yet, or ones that do have a commander, but don't have it in Wooburg. And again, in my opinion, Wooburg is the best color combination out there. So yes, this is a commander that allows you to go in all those directions, plus some really unique and weird directions, like, oh, I don't know, have you ever tried this Shadowborn Apostle with Morphon? Because here we go. It's a 1/1 human cleric for a single black mana. A deck can have any number of cards named Shadowborn Apostle. By paying a black mana and sacrificing 6 creatures named Shadowborn Apostle, go get a demon creature card from the battlefield, then shuffle. Yeah, you can build Shadowborn Apostle in a lot of different ways. You can utilize it in a lot of different creatures, commander strategies. Like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, it's an Orzhov, with commanders that maybe get it back from the graveyard. Awesome, good for me. Yeah, or you can go Morphon and just say, okay, ETBs of Morphon, say either human or cleric, depending on what the most of that creature type you have in the deck. Probably human, I would assume. And then you're like, okay, my Shadowborn Apostles cost black less. They are free. Every time I have one in my hand, I literally display it. So, okay, I play all these. I sacrifice them. I go tutor out a crazy, awesome demon. Good for me. Oh, and by the way, I'm in Wooburg, so I have all the awesome things to get things back out of my graveyard, to my hand. Like, so awesome. Okay, I'll just return all my creature cards to my graveyard to my hand. Cool. I'll do that with, like, Creeping Renaissance or something like that. And then I'll play on my Shadowborn Apostles again for free. Yep, and maybe I've got some ways to get some ETBs out of those. Like, oh, okay, when I play a creature spell, I get to draw a card kind of thing. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you can do some absolutely insane things when you just build a deck around, again, creatures that can be played for free with Morphon, because it reduces that cost in color, and usually you never see that. How about like a Shrieking Drake? Yeah, I built an entire deck around this called Morphon Monuments, and it's so much fun utilizing the monuments when they were a lot cheaper back in the day. Anyways, a 1/1 Drake with flying for a single blue mana. ETBs, bounce a creature control back to its owner's hand. Here's the thing, it can be the Shrieking Drake, so you just bounce it again. Infinite cast triggers, infinite storm count, infinite ETBs, infinite LTBs. Rules are out there. Get at me in the comments below, apparently. But okay, fine. A trillion. You pick a number, okay? Regardless, it's so much fun. Who knew that this derpy card could be so good with Morphon? Or again, maybe like a tribe that has a lot of low-to-the-ground creatures with like a lot of like certain like specific mana values. Like Slivers are kind of in that vein essentially, and actually some giant Sliver Lords that are like free with Morphon. Gross, because they're all Wooburg. A 1/1 Sliver for 2 mana in Boros. Sliver creature controls that have flying and haste. Yeah. Maybe instead of utilizing, which they are awesome, they are, those Sliver, Lords essentially with Wooburg, Cool. Utilize a different kind of Wooburg commander that can make all those free and then give you free other slivers to really hypercharge things and also pump them a little bit too, which is quite nice. That being said, also with Morphon, consider a card like Heartless Summoning. I love this card and I'm so happy it's budget friendly now. Enchant for 2 mana in black. Creature spells you cast cost chose to cast. Creature control get -1/-1. Here's the thing. Again, Morphon takes out that negative side. Again, like the +1/+1 for Morphon is like a slight upside, and it just says, okay, I'll take away my slight upside for that slight downside. They're both gone now. Basically, that's just coming out even, and all your creature spells now cost Wooburg and 2 less to cast. You can cast things that cost 7 mana for free, thanks to this commander in this combination. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Tovolar, Dire Overlord, like a commander like this, sure, you can build around this for werewolves, but you're limited in werewolves to 2 colors. Though, now you can build around Morphon and say, you know what, let's go with werewolves in a 5-color type strategy. I can use Tovolar, I can use all the other werewolves, I can also use some really weird synergies that I might not be able to use when it comes to things transforming or whatnot. Yeah, I can actually utilize all the cards I want to because I've got Wooburg, which is the best color combination. How about Leyline of Mutation? Chant for 4 mana in green. Whenever it's in your opening hand, begin the game with it on the battlefield. Again, basically like a Leyline thing. It's free. Cool, why not? And it says you may pay Wooburg rather than pay the mana cost for spells you cast. Again, literally, Fist of Suns, Joda, those basically same things. With Morphon equals, hey, is this the creature type that I named in my hand? Cool. It's free to play. I play it for free. I play that one for free. You can do some absolutely disgusting, amazing things. Future Sight, again, being able to play off the top of your library as well, not just from your hand. You can get things for free off the top. Have fun with that. Or how about just like a tribe that has so many creatures, so much, well, again, like good cards to pick from, like humans. Okay, there you go. You can play like Garth for free, which is so much fun. But yeah, utilize humans and utilize like all the humans that don't have any generic mana value, essentially. Just do ones that just have like one of each kind of pip or one of a couple of pips, essentially, so you can play basically your entire deck for free and utilize crazy synergies like that. What's not to love about a strategy like that? Morphon the Boundless, again, is a commander that is boundless. Its name literally describes what it does. You can do it in so many different directions. Again, yes, you can pick a tribe for a commander, a commander tribe that doesn't have a commander itself, or one that does but doesn't have a Wooburg version of it, or one that can just take in a different direction, or again, doing some weird things like Shadowborn Apostle, or Shrieking Jake shenanigans, or just humans. Why not? It is such a fun commander. Make sure you build around it. Okay, coming back around though, how about big things? Because big things are fun, and so is Cascading Wanderer, the king of cascading big things. A 7/5 elemental that costs 8 mana in Teamer. Creature control of haste. Oh, also swinging right away, also fun. Cascade. So again, Cascade means when you cast it, exile cards to the top of your library to exile a non-land card that costs less. You can cast up paying its mana cost, and the rest of the cards go on the bottom of your library in random order. And then with this one, again, you cascade twice, so you do it again. So yeah, this is a commander where it's like, the goal is to get to 8 mana and play this, and then fun times will happen. Yeah, that's gonna happen. And the faster you can get to 8 mana, the better. And of course, if you get some other things on the way out that kind of can give you some value, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, Cascade's gotten more support over the most recent years. You can do some absolutely crazy, amazing things. But yeah, you can utilize a card like, I don't know, Dwarven Ruins. Yep. This card, Dwarven Ruins. Enters battlefield, taps for a red, tap, sacrifice it, add red. This is a card where it's like, you know what? Again, sometimes you just need that little extra boost to just get you across the finish line to cast, again, Maelstrom Wanderer, and then all of a sudden, you've got that 7/5 in play, your creatures have haste, and you hit 2 other massive things, and the entire game has changed. Yeah, little bursts of mana can help you out with that. You're willing to get rid of a land to do so, because you can get it back too if you've got like a Verna the Chaos Blue in play. Anyways, as you cascade, you may put a land card from one of the exile cards on the battlefield tapped. Yeah, that is a lot of fun. That is so much fun, being able to just get lands and ramp while you're cascading too. Yeah, do it. Why not? Goreclaw, Terror of Kalisisma, yet another great way to get your commander out, and also a way to grant basically another kind of like Anthem effect too. 4/3 Bear for 4 mana. That should never have gotten demoted to uncommon, but sure, it's cheaper now, so cool. All right, creature spells you cast a power 4, greater cost to cast. That's gonna be basically like all your creatures in the deck, except for, I guess, I don't know, Verna does have, 2. Anyways, cool. Anyways, whenever it attacks, each creature you control at power 4 or greater gets +1 against trample until end of turn. So again, that goes well with that haste, goes well with the aggression, and of course, makes it so your commander now just cost, like 6 mana instead? Yeah, what's not to love about that? Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty. This one has Cascade itself, so if you cascade on this, you cascade further. Does that make sense? Awesome. Spells you cast with convert mana cost 6 or greater have Cascade. Now your commander's got Cascade. Can I say Cascade any more times? It's a fun mechanic. I mean, just getting random things off the top of the library, again, so much fun. So why not Cascade into Sylvanas Stampede, which lets you basically cascade further. Starting with you, each player votes for wild or free. Reveal cards at the top of your library to reveal a creature card for each wild vote. Put the creature cards on the battlefield, then shuffle the rest in your library. Or you put a permanent card from your hand on the battlefield for each free vote. Your opponents probably don't have very many good options with this one, because you might just have giant things in your hand or giant things off the top of your library. Have fun hitting them, or you can hit the Mother Load. Again, sorcery for 7 mana, but again, with this commander, it can just be free off the top. Discover 10. If the discovered card's mana value is less than 10, you get a ton of trapped treasure tokens, so you can use that to spend it on something, well, lovely, like, I don't know, the Hullbreaker. 7/8, that costs 7 mana in total. Flash, it can't be countered. Whenever you cast a spell, choose up to 1. Bounce target spell you don't control back to its owner's hand. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. You might even just return Maelstrom Wanderer to your hand so you can replay it and then cascade even further. Maybe then you can hit another 7 mana card like Coma World Eater. Definitely a giant creature that can definitely eat the world. An 8/12 Serpent. This spell can't be countered. Lovely. 7 mana in total. And Simic. Trample Ward 4. Ward 4 is ridiculous. Deals combat damage to a player. Create 4 3/3s. Name Coma's Coil. Yeah, you're going to hit players. You're going to make a giant army. Again, you can speedily swing with this. Again, thanks to Maelstrom Wanderer. Yeah, this is something that, again, is so much fun. It is like big, big spells in a different way other than Joda. Joda's like, I'm going to pay for them, but like a cheaper way to pay for them. This is like, I'm going to do random things and hit big things, and it's going to be fun. Let's swing out and do things. Yeah, go pick it up. Finally, though, Corona False God. I am here to tell you that this is not a jank commander. I mean, it can definitely be built jank, and sure, that's fine. And it's a bit janky. Okay, fine. It's a little janky. But it is a commander that is so much fun. And not just because it's Wooburg, okay? And not just because it's from my childhood and it's nostalgic anyways. A 5/5 avatar. I believe it's an avatar. That's been errated. Anyways, for 6 mana in total in Wooburg. Haste. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, the player untaps Corona and gains control of it. Whenever Corona attacks, creatures of the type of your choice get +3/+3 until end of turn. This is so much fun. This is a commander that says, hey, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to just go change teams every single turn, and we're going to encourage swinging big, because you know what? They get me, they get to swing big. Then they get me, they get to swing big. Then they get me, they get to swing big. And of course, as the player who, well, owns Corona, you probably should build a deck in a way where you're not just getting swung at all the time, unless that's what you want to do, but probably not. So yeah, maybe utilizing cards like, I don't know, Propaganda to make it so your opponents maybe attack elsewhere. Enchant for 3 mana. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. Yeah, making it so that those attacks mean a bit more when they're going in a different direction. Or how about Duelist Heritage? A card that says, you know what? I'm going to make it so that I incentivize opponents to attack elsewhere by granting double strike to an attacking creature. Yeah, not just your own, but again, like on any combat base, you're like, hey, creature attacked. Yeah, I'll give that creature double strike. Cool. Being able to also protect Corona in combat can be great and make it hit twice as hard. Can be fantastic. Just keep in mind, too, little tip out there, too, if they pump Corona at the +3/+3, goes to 8, by saying Avatar. And then, cool, double strike equals 16. That is already 2/3 of the way there to actually make it a one-shot KO. It's 2 out of 3. There you go. It's a 2-shot KO. We got there. All right, Secure the Waste, though. A card that's just like a surprise, I win the game kind of a card with this commander. Instant speed for X and a white. Create X 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. Just being able to put a ton of mana into this out of nowhere right before your turn, make a massive army of warriors, and then say, okay, I swing with Corona, I choose warriors, now I'm swinging with 4/4s instead of 1/1s. Have fun with that. And of course, with a card like War Cadence, you can get your army through, or again, you can politic with this commander and get your opponent's armies through on each other. X and a red. This turn, creatures can't block unless controller pays 2 for each blocking creature they control. Kind of like a reverse Ghostly Prison in a way, and you can make it so that your opponents literally can't block at all. And so, yeah, it protects your Corona going through. Whether it's your turn or not doesn't really matter, but being able to politic with it and say, like, hey, if you swing at that player, I will pay into this so they can't pay a lot of mana and they can't actually, block your creatures. Or how about Vow of Flight? Make sure Corona's not coming at you at all. Enchant creature gets +2/+2 as flying, can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. That can be quite nice, making it so that Corona can get through and also will not be coming at you. Or how about Alexios, Deimos of Cosmos? Yet another one who's like, you know what? I'm going to change teams too. 4/4, Human Berserker with Trample. It attacks each combat Fable. Can't be sacrificed, can't attack its owner. So basically, hey, everyone else gets me to swing at them and not the owner. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, the player gains control of Alexios, untaps, put a counter on it, gains haste until end of turn. So much fun to just be like, hey, yeah, you get these 2 creatures. Have fun attacking. Assault Suit, if you want to protect Corona further. +2/+2 haste, can't attack your planeswalker you control, can't be sacrificed. Quite nice. And again, at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may have them gain control. They're already doing that if it is Corona. That being said, yeah, you could just put this on another creature as well and be like, hey, you get more creatures. Good for you. Keep swinging. Swing more and more and more. Illusionist Gambit, though, instant speed for 4 mana in blue. Cast it only during the declare blocker step on an opponent's turn. Move all attacking creatures from combat, untap them. After this phase, initial combat phase, each of those creatures attacks that combat fable. They can't attack you or planeswalkers you control that combat. Essentially just saying, hey, you know what? Okay, you were going to attack me with Corona. I don't like that. You gotta attack elsewhere. And by the way, you already pumped your creatures, and now you get to pump them again, but you're gonna be hitting someone else. Have fun! And of course, if you really want to go for it, you can with a fun, like, avatar build as well. Again, Corona is an avatar itself, so yeah, having, like, a bunch of avatars and just pumping them all a ton. Primal Protector is a fun one. 10/10. You're basically going to cast it for a single mana, which is insane. Enters the battlefield, put a counter on each other creature you control. It's a lot of fun. But again, Corona False God, again, is not just a jank commander. Sure, it can be a jank commander, but it can be so much more than that. So much fun. Just actually giving it around to all of your opponents and saying, do my dirty work for me. Hit every opponent. Have fun. Swing, 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 swing. And just really politicking and making it so that you're getting the most out of this and hitting everyone so hard. Have fun. Again, there are a ton of fun commanders out there, and these are just a few. These are the ones that I'm, pointing out right now that I think are the most fun these days. They're just so much fun to build around. That being said, there's a lot of other ones out there, but still, Joda Archmage Turtle, again, who doesn't want to just play big spells in Wooburg? Again, Wooburg, the best color combination of all time, in my opinion. Bernard, Ginger Sculptor, being able to, go, aristocrats, populate value in Bant. Who's ever heard of that? Atlan, Nest Tender, being able to go, you know what? Let's make some eggs, let's crack them and get random things, or Sarah Avatar, off the top of the library for fun. Why not? Arixmethes, guaranteed explosive vegetation on early turns, being able to just ramp so quickly, so effectively. Why not? Corm the Undertaker, hey, go get that big creature and just put it in your graveyard. You don't even need to get into play, and all of a sudden this creature is the biggest one on the board. Maelstrom Wanderer, play giant things off the top of your library. Swing right away. What's not fun about that? Morphon the Boundless, truly boundless when it comes to the decks that you can build around it and do crazy weird things like Shadowborn Apostles, or Shrieking Drake shenanigans, or again, Starfish Tribal, if you really want to go in that direction. I think there's 4 Starfish out there, but still, whatever floats your boat. And then finally, Corona False God. Again, being able to just say, you know what? Still in Wooburg, get access to all the colors. That's awesome. But yeah, being able to say, you know what? Let's give everyone a chance to swing with my amazing commander. Make it even more amazing for you. Have fun with that. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support.